Good morning. There have been a lot of times when I've stood up here and talked about how this school is a good place. And we've heard it once again from our exchange students who have been here for a month and are sad to be leaving us. I've talked about how this is a caring and good-hearted community. I've also usually added that I know it's not perfect. In the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of conversation about this community's imperfections, about times when we've failed to be as caring and kind as we aspire to be. For me, that's been painful to hear. I've felt sad, I felt disappointed, I felt hurt for this community and hurt for those who've been harmed. But I want to say that I still believe in the goodness of this place. I recognize that we screw up, and sometimes we screw up really badly. But I still believe this school is fundamentally a good place, a place of goodwill, a community that aims to be kind and caring. I want to recognize that there's no such thing as a perfect human community. I don't know of any community where there's never any hurt feelings or conflicts or misunderstandings or offenses, either intentional or through ignorance or thoughtlessness. The basic human community is the family. How many of us live in a family where no hurtful things ever occur? I never have. I've never lived in a perfect family or a perfect neighborhood or church or school or workplace or town or city or nation. And our nation these days is a pretty good example of an imperfect community. I don't think any of us has ever lived in a perfect community. Why is that? To begin with, we as individuals, we human beings, aren't perfect. We'd like to be, maybe we try to be, but we mess up. Sometimes we're ignorant, sometimes we're careless, sometimes we're selfish. We put our own needs and concerns first, and then we're blind to how our own self-centeredness affects others around us. We fail at empathy, one of our core values. We fail to understand and take a share in the feelings of others. We're imperfect, we're broken, we human beings are damaged goods. And our brokenness shows up again and again in our relationships with one another, in friendships, in marriages, in families, in schools, in our communities of every size. And in a community like this one, where we come from different backgrounds and cultures with different understandings and expectations, seeing through different cultural lenses, we're not going to really understand and be able to share with each other without doing some work. And the work we need to do is the work of love. I'm not talking about, oh, look at that puppy dog, isn't he cute? I'm not talking about that kind of love. Or I'm not talking about the let's sneak a kiss in this dark corner kind of love. Although those may be perfectly good kinds of love. I'm talking about the love that fills us with strength and joy, that lights up an inner fire, a fire within us that can overcome any trouble or pain. It's the love that changes who we are, that transforms us, that leads us to be wide open and vulnerable and able to identify and share with one another and with all creation, that makes us able to share in the great spirit of I am, the great spirit of God. Now, I know some of you may be sitting there thinking, I don't believe in God. And you know what? You're right. The God you don't believe in isn't God. You may have a concept of God that you don't accept, But God's not a concept in the mind. God's a deep love that's already in your heart. It's at the core of your being. And that love is in all of us, whether we recognize and acknowledge it or not. It's buried deep in our hearts, and often it's covered over and hidden under all our doubts and fears and our need to protect ourselves from harm. We cover up that love, and we hide it from others and from ourselves because of our fear and our self-protectiveness. And to get in touch with that love, we have to let go of that fear and self-protectiveness, and we have to let our hearts get wide open. That's a huge risk. It's scary. It's not easy to do. In fact, I don't think any of us can do it by our own will. Only love itself, only the great spirit of love can give us the courage to be fully open to love. All we can do is say, Great Spirit, here I am. Open me up. But when we do that, the Spirit will be there and will act and will begin to change who we are and how we approach this business of living together. Divine love has the power to change us, to make us fully aware and fully accepting and fully loving toward one another. It has the power to create the beloved community that Martin Luther King talks about, and that I believe we all desire in our deepest hearts. It doesn't mean we never screw up again. It doesn't mean that there's never any hurt in this community. But it does mean that our relationship with one another becomes fundamentally loving and caring in a new way. That our interactions with one another are guided by empathy and kindness and tolerance and forgiveness when we mess up. That's the kind of community that was envisioned in the founding of this school. And I believe in my heart that that's still the kind of community we all want. I don't believe there are any evil-hearted people sitting in this space. We're all imperfect. We all make mistakes. But I don't believe there's anyone here who intentionally sets out to harm others. So please don't give up on this place. Seek love and seek to do your part in making this school a truly loving place. You're worth it. We're all worth it. We're all children of the Great Spirit. Thank you for listening. I love you all. Keep going.